Hello all and welcome to the latest Craftmania Sunday Showcase. I'm Jamie and I'm going to be your host today. Now today we have some brand new dies to share with you, and it's a bit of a tale of two seasons today because we have a really lovely Christmas collection we're going to be looking at, and then a really nice everyday collection, and we have a really big essential pack for you this week as well that features decorations to go along with both themes, so you're in for quite a treat. Now, before we move on, if you're new to our videos, just in case you are, what we're going to be doing next is we're going to look at all of our products that we're offering you on this week's Sunday Showcase. Every one of them has a code, and if you do wish to order these products via phone to one of our stores, via text message, or on any of our social media such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook or YouTube, if you could please use these codes, we'll know the items that you're on about. Equally, you can order all of the products I'm going to be sharing with you on our website. We send them literally all around the world, and we'll talk more later about how our postage and international postage works. But for now, do bear in mind that you might need them codes depending on how you wish to order. Now, as a Sunday Showcase, we actually give a discount off of the products when we launch them. So today we have 7 brand new dies for you to have a look at. They are all reduced individually, or you're going to be able to save even more money by buying them as part of a mega deal, which we'll chat about shortly. But let's have a little look at these dies, and then shortly I'll also be able to show you lots of samples I've made, hopefully giving you a few ideas of how these are going to work. So the code that we're referring to obviously on this one is code DIE1. This one is our woodland set. It should be £11.49p, but on your Sunday Showcase offer this week it's only £9.99. Now for your £9.99 you're getting an awful lot in this one, to be fair. As you can see, you've got a really nice big seam part. Now these are actually bladed all the way around, so that's going to cut out as a separate panel. We also, of course, have a nice big tree. You've got a little bunny rabbit, you've got a little piece of grass, a reindeer, a little fence, and then we've also got some snow to go across the top of your fence, or just a little snowy sort of piece to go across the bottom of your scene. There are so many ways that you could dress that set up. I'm going to be showing you a lot today done as Christmas ones, but I also wanted to share this with you. This was something I put together in literally a couple of minutes. This is designed obviously as a Halloween one. So I'm not somebody who really sends Halloween cards, but I know there is people out there who do buy them and do send them. So this might be quite a nice way that you could dress that up as that style of card as well. Might also be quite nice for men's cards or even sympathy cards, if you wanted to go more down that side with the trees and the peaceful aspect, or maybe some fishing. There is a lot more than Christmas that we could do with this woodland set, but you're certainly going to appreciate it as a Christmas set when we get to show you some samples soon. So that one is code DIE1, woodland, should be £11.49 but only £9.99. Die 2, now this is really clever, this one. It's actually just a square die, and then down the side here it's going to cut out all this really nice delicate snowflake. Its actual name is Snowflake Frame. This one again should be £11.49 but is only £9.99 on your discount this week. And it's quite good because you can literally use this any way up. It's also quite nice, so if you want to use it at the bottom of an easel card you can do, and then maybe also have the delicate part appearing at the top of the easel card. There's so many options with that one. We're going to get to hopefully show you a few of them ideas shortly. Moving on to die number 3, this one is your Snowflake Circle. Now this one should be £9.99 but is reduced to only £8.99, and for that you're going to be getting 2 different dies. So this one is actually a filled-in circle, so there's no blade on the insert here, so when you cut that out it will be a solid panel that you can decorate. Or you can pop this in the middle and it will actually cut that circle out. There is a blade running all the way around the edge of here, so if you do want it more as a frame you can do that. And then this panel itself actually cuts out a really nice lattice style snowflake panel that is really, really beautiful. It doesn't look much as a die like this. It looks a bit geometric and a bit confusing, but when we actually cut it out it looks really, really lovely. So you're going to appreciate that when we get to see it shortly, hopefully. This one is just a quick sample I've made using that die. I did want to pop this one onto a card, but I didn't quite get a chance for this. So it's got a few different bits on this one. But one of the bits I wanted to highlight is the actual snowflakes that come out of your die cut are actually really nice decorations you can add on around it as well. The decoupage sheets that we're going to be showing you shortly that are available in your essentials pack also fit in the middle of this one quite nicely as well. I actually cut one of mine out as a frame and put the picture underneath it and then built it up on top of that, and I've layered it just too deep to give me a bit of depth to my actual die cut. The big snowflake on here, if you're wondering where that's come from, that's actually come out of the top of die number 2. So where you can see these 3 large snowflakes, they're really lovely little decorations on their own right. So when they come out, you can really use them to jazz up any of the projects you're going to be doing with this collection. And that's just one of them layered on here with one of the little ones in the middle. So that was die number 3, should be £9.99, but it's reduced to just £8.99. And then moving on to die number 4, we have your snowflake oval. Now again, this one's quite a good one because we're going to get 2 in this set. This one should be £7.49, but it's only £6.49. So 2 dies for £6.49 is really good value, and they're big old dies as well. And a bit like the last one, our actual oval panel here is a solid. There isn't a blade around the middle, so if you do want to leave it as a filled-in panel, you can do, which is great for adding sentiments and names and bits like that. Or you can use this panel and pop it in there, and it will actually cut that out as a frame once again if you want to. And it's quite nice because this one's actually got a scalloped edge, so you get quite a nice scalloped edge to the inside of your frame. If you prefer, you can use that one just to cut out this really nice panel on its own. And the good bit with this one is there's nothing actually theming this at all to winter or Christmas or any theme whatsoever. So it's just a really nice pretty lattice style die that you could again use to dress up in so many ways. So that was die number 4. That was your snowflake oval. Should be £7.49, but it's only £6.49. Now moving on to your everyday dies. As I said, we're sort of a tale of 2 seasons today. We've done the Christmassy bit. Let's have a look at the generals. So die number 5 is a square frame. Now these are quite cool because not only do you get the frame, you've also got lots of nesting squares to go in these. So if you want to, you can pop any of these into this die and cut this frame out to different widths. So it gives you a lot of opportunity to make like pyramage styles, whether they're invitage or pyramage. You could of course use them to put photos into a scrapbook album if you wish to, or you can just leave this as a solid because once again there isn't a blade on the inside in there. So if you do want to use it for, well, loads of different options. I've even done some tea bag folding with these I'll be getting to show you shortly. But again, great for sentiments or layering your decoupage on it or anything along them lines. So that one is your square frame. Die number 5 should be £8.49, but is reduced to just £6.99. Now the next one is very similar, but we're going for a circle this time instead. So die number 6 is your circle frame. Again, should be £8.49, but is now only £6.99 for this week. And again, you've got the same setup. So we've got a nice circle, really ornate, delicate die. Again, without a blade in the middle here, and then lots of circles that you can use to cut out or stack up on top if you wish to. And then for die number 7, we have the same idea again, but done as an oval. Now, die number 7, once again, should be £8.49, but it's reduced to just £6.99. And once again, it doesn't have a blade in the middle, has lots of individuals that you can use instead. Or like my little example here, they're great for layering on the decoupage sheets that I'm going to be getting to share with you shortly. So there's lots of ways we can use these. And one of the best bits I like, especially about the oval, is you can use it either as a portrait or a landscape. It doesn't matter what you want to do with it. It just looks good. It's a really pretty die cut, as all of them are really. Now, as I said, you can purchase them all individually if you wish to, or you can save even more money by buying them in our mega bundle. So this week's mega bundle will give you all 7 of the dies we've just been looking at. The recommended retail price for these is £65.93, but you can purchase them all for just £52.99 if you wish to. And that will literally give you all 7 of them, and I promise you, you're going to just love these and you're going to be using them time and time again because they're such fun dies to work with. Now, if you're new to our videos, once again, welcome. What we also do is an essential pack most weeks. And our essential pack is basically a little bit of everything I've been playing with to create the samples I'm going to be sharing with you shortly. But when we bring it together and put it into one pack, we give you roughly a third off the recommended retail price. So if you do like the look of some of my samples and you'd like to have a go at making a few of these, if you are going to cash in and get the dies on offer this week, you might want one of these to go with it because it will certainly help point you in the right direction. So this week's essential pack should cost you £24.32, but this week it's only £16. Now for your £16, you're generally getting a real lot of stuff this week. I'm quite impressed myself that we've managed to jam all this in to just one pack for you. So let's have a little dig in and see what we can find. So to begin with, we've got a pack of stickers. These are border stickers. These each come off individually. So you've got a best wishes and flower set that's going to go in really well with the decoupage that goes with the general dies. We've then got a Happy Christmas and Merry Christmas border set that of course is going to go in really well with all them Christmassy dies. And then we also have these. Now these are really luxury. They're like a printed embossed parchment, and I don't think you're going to see the beauty of these actually on camera, but you're going to have to trust me, they're beautiful. They really have the finest detail work actually put onto them, and they're sticky back borders, so you can literally just peel them off and stick them onto whatever you wish to. You may pick up better if I put them on the table, because you might get to see the pattern a bit better, but they really are very delicate and very, very pretty. And of course you're going to get a packet of them in your essential pack. I'll also be able to show you them on a card shortly, and hopefully you might pick it up a bit better on screen then as well. We're also going to give you a packet of these, which are tiny, tiny, tiny holeless beads, which are perfect for shaker cards and bits like that. And I've used them in a couple of my shaker cards today, so we'll get to have a little play around with them shortly. You're also going to get 4 envelopes and matching cards, so good card bases for you to be working on with these products too. We're also going to give you a chipboard frame. Now this might seem slightly random, and I apologise, but it's going to be good. You're going to like this hopefully. I'm going to show you shortly how I've turned this into a big 3D shaker thing, so hopefully you'll like the look of that. But of course they're really good for just decorating up, and you're going to have so many options to decorate these with the bits you're going to get. They come in 3 parts, so you've got a back leg for it, so if you do want to use it as a traditional frame you can do, and then obviously you've got the backing and the part to decorate as well. But they're just great fun. I love working with these. I've made some really random things out of these chipboard frames over the years, and they're quite addictive, so you might fall in love with them once you've had one of those to play with. We're also going to give you 3 sheets of our new frosted foil cardstock. Now I know that we introduced this last week, and you did get some of this in last week's Essentials pack, but quite honestly we didn't know that we was going to be doing a winter themed Christmas style card this week, or showcase this week, and this is just perfect because it looks like frost, doesn't it? So you need this really to go with your collection. So not only are you going to be able to get 3 sheets of this in your pack, it is also available to buy online and in store in value packs as well. So you might want to stock up on lots of that because it is really, really lovely. We're then going to give you a pack of paper. So in here you've got 23 sheets, and the actual sheet size is 6x6 or 15.2 centimetres by 15.2. Now all of the pages in here are double-sided, and you're going to notice quite quickly that they really coordinate well with the dies and the decoupage sheets we're going to be looking at shortly. So you do get quite a lot on these, and they're really lovely. I like the way personally that they've give you different colour tones of the same images on some of them. So when you are working with them, you might think that some of the colours are a bit harsh. So just flip it over and you'll have a nice toned down version of it instead. Now these penguins I think are really cool, and then you've got some really nice polar bears as well. And I prefer the subtle ones more than the bright ones on them ones personally. But they're good fun, and if you didn't want to use them as a sheet, you could always cut them out if you wanted to. Might make nice envelope liners or inserts for your cards as well. These big snowflake ones are quite fun. I cut them into strips on one of my cards you're going to get to see soon. And then these ones look quite nice because it looks like you've spent a lot of time inking them and playing around with them to try and get that sort of texture paste and distressed effect on them, when really we haven't. It's just a piece of paper, which is quite nice. And then we've got these ones as well. I quite like them. I thought they were quite nice. I was tempted to glitter these with a quickie glue pen because I could just see that a few lines of that could really bring them out and make them a bit bolder. And then these birds are really lovely as well, aren't they? Little robins on there. And you're going to get 3 different sheets of those as well, or 3 sheets of that one. So that's your little paper pad. Really good value. And again, as I say, they do coordinate with the dies, and they are going to coordinate perfectly with the decoupage sheets I'm about to show you. So you're also going to be getting 4 A4 die cut sheets. So that all means they're already cut. You can just pop them straight out and build them up. They're already numbered for you, and every sheet has on it 3 different pictures. So as you can see, you've got the landscape oval, the landscape oval, and then more of a circular one up here as well. So you're going to get all 3 of them obviously on there for your dears. We then have 3 little penguin pictures, which of course go really well with the pages in your book. We then have our polar bears, which are just really, really cute, aren't they? Aren't they lovely? Remind me of Coca-Cola, which I'm sure is just being brainwashed by advertising, but it does. And then we have our little birdies too, which are really lovely, and again would go in really well with them pages in your booklet. And then of course, because we're giving you all of these sheets to go with the dies for your festive set, we also wanted to give you some sheets to go with your everyday ones. Now you're going to notice obviously that your everyday dies are a square, a circle and an oval. So these sheets have been designed that you have a square, an oval and a circle to match in with all of those dies. And then they're sort of done a bit more on seasons with these ones. So that's your first sheet. Then we have your fall sheet, which I just think is really lovely. Then we have more of a spring sheet and a bit of a summer sheet as well. So you're going to get 4 of those again. So once again, 3 different designs on each one. So you're getting lots and lots of these to work with. And that's going to complete your essentials part this week, which don't forget should be worth £24 or is worth £24.32p, but is only £16 on your offer this week. Now, as always, we do urge you with our essential packs. They go very, very quickly. I know I can sense this one's going to be a sellout quite fast, so please don't miss out. If you do want to get one of these ordered or held, please do so. Don't leave it, because I have a feeling you could miss out. If you are going to go for one of these, you might also wish to stock up on these too. These are brand new. We've literally just been packaging these in store just before we filmed today's video. These are brand new foam pads. You're going to get 10 sheets of foam pads in a packet. They're 5mm by 5mm squares and they're 2mm thick. Now normally these would retail for £8.90p, but we've managed to get a fantastic offer on these that we're going to pass on to you. So they're only £2.49p for a packet, which of course means that they're less than 25p a sheet, which is just silly, silly money. As I say, we normally sell them for either 89 or 99p per sheet, so you've got some really good value in them, and we do think they're going to go quite quickly. So if you do want one of those, you can of course order them on any of our social media via text, over the phone to one of our stores, or of course on the website. And I'll also put them in the Sunday Showcase page, so if you're looking through the website, you don't have to go searching for them. They'll be there for you if you do want to add them to your order. And then lastly, as your bundles go, we have your super mega bundle. So this doesn't save you any more money, sadly, but it does make it easier for you to order. So if you do wish to order on one of our social medias or text, or even if you're ordering online and you don't want to click lots of buttons, why not just order the super mega bundle? This gives you all 7 dies and the essential pack. It's worth £90.25p, but it's yours for just £68.99. And it literally gives you everything I've just been talking about regarding your dies and your essential pack in one handy packet. So if you do wish to order that one, that's certainly a very nice place to start. Now let's show you a few of the things I've been making with these collections and your essential pack, to hopefully give you a few ideas of what bits you might like and which ones you'd find useful. So I wanted to show you this before we go any further. This one's just one of the little pictures built up from that autumn sheet. I just didn't get time to put all of the pictures onto cards, but this is one that I did get a chance to build up. And I just wanted to show you really how nice and deep this is and how they've really done a good job of designing these. They really are quite lovely. Now let's move on to some cards. So this card is all about showing you the different ways in which you can use one die really. This is actually using the circle, which is die number 6 of the circle frames, which is of course only £6.99. So on the outside here I've taken 8 of them and I've done some tea bag folding using our pearl paper to make my medallion part. Now if you haven't seen tea bag folding before, or you just want a bit of a refresher on it, we have recently released a video showing you how to do tea bag folding. So if it's something you're worried about or not too sure how to do have a little look at that video. I'm going to pop the link to it in the description for this one, so if you do want to go and have a look at it, you can do. But that's just a basic tea bag fold, using 8 of the dies cut out and just placed together to make my medallion for my little wrap round. And then if we take the wrap off and we open up the card, this one is actually a shaker card. So we've got an acetate backing and we've got all of them lovely little seedless balls in there. I don't know how well you're going to see them because they're clear balls, which possibly isn't going to help too well, but you can certainly hopefully hear them. And they just make a really nice fun element to a card, don't they? So in the middle here, we again have that circle die just cut out and layered in the middle of our acetate. We've then got one of the images from the decoupage sheets, from obviously from your essentials pack. And then in the corners, I've also used the same circle and just cut it into quarters to turn it into a corner as well. Just an easy, simple thing to remind you to do. But sometimes it's quite nice to tie your designs in by using your dies as corners or borders as well. So that's that card. Nice and simple, that one. Moving on to your next one, So on this one, we have the woodland die, which is number 1. And I wanted to show you that the woodland die, a bit like with the Halloween setup that I did, doesn't have to just be for Christmas. Especially things like the picket fence and the trees can certainly come in all year round. So I wanted to add it into this card instead. So literally, as I say, we've got the picket fence. The tree is actually on the big panel with all the different trees, but I've just trimmed it off and stuck it in there. And then if we open the card up, we can see another bit of the fence, the big tree on its own, a piece of grass, and the really cute little bunny. And then, of course, for the inside, we've got the oval die, which, of course, is die number 7, the oval frame. Just showing you how that can be used to make your sentiments quite easily. And then on the outside bit here, we've actually got the square frame this time, which is die number 5, used to do our tea bag folding with. And again, I've done 8 panels or 8 triangles as such, using 8 die cuts to make this one up. And then, of course, another one of our images from, of course, you've guessed it, the Essentials pack. Am I brainwashing you into feeling that you need that yet? Because if not, I'm going to have to continue to work hard on this, because I think you're going to really regret it if you don't get your hands on one of them, because they're just so much fun. Moving on, we have our next card. This one, of course, has the square die on it, which is number 5. Again, reduced to just £6.99. And this is just a really quick card, just to show you how lovely these pictures are and how you could dress them up to so many occasions. I've left my plain on the inside, but I thought that might make quite a nice sympathy card, maybe, or a thinking of you card, or a get well soon. Could be anything, couldn't it, really? But it's just a simple one, and shows you, again, how really pretty them squares are, and how easy it is also to thread ribbon through them to give you a bit more depth and dimension to them if you want to. Then moving on, we have our first Christmas card that we're going to look at today. So this one's got a few different bits on it. We have the snowflake circle, which has been used to create our baubles. Now this is that really lovely panel in the middle that I said to you earlier looks a bit geometric and you might not really appreciate the beauty of it. This is the actual part of that has been used to make the baubles. So I've cut 2 of them out of white cardstock. I've cut a slightly larger circle, and then I've just inked them, to be fair, but you could of course use coloured card and pop them underneath it. And then I've stuck loads and loads of little crystals all over the top of my snowflakes just to really make them a bit blingy and pop. And then of course I've layered it on matching card and used some of that really lovely frosted card, again from your Essentials pack. On the inside of this one, we also have 2 of the layers using the snowflake oval, which of course is die number 4, reduced to £6.49. And I think they're lovely for sentiments. I think they're just a really pretty, right size for them sort of parts for the inserts of your cards. And then on the outside here, on my little acetate overlay, I've used just the middle part of that same die to add my sentiments to the outside of the card. So they really do come in quite handy for all sorts of places. And that's our first Christmas card of today. Moving on to our next one. So this one's a fun one. Again, we've done some tea bag folding, and this time we've used that snowflake circle, your die number 3, which is the one that had that really nice geometric pattern in it. But remember I told you how you could use that by cutting out the middle and using it as a frame, or you could use it filled in. Well, obviously this time I've left it filled in to keep it as a or keep it as a full circle, so I could do my tea bag folding with it. And I've again done 8 of them to make up my medallion part here. Of course, the very cute penguins are off of the sheets in the Essentials pack, and the papers dotted through here are again off of the paperback that's in the Essentials pack. Oh, come back, all is forgiven. And then the actual die in the background here, this is this one. Now you may remember this, we showed this on a showcase a couple of weeks ago and it proved very popular because we did tea bag folding with that die, and it's actually one that we're doing in classes at the moment, but it's also just really nice to pop at the back of a panel too. So if you didn't manage to get that one when we had it on our Sunday showcases, we do have them back in stock and they are only £11.49 if you would like one of those. And then moving on, we'll try and hold on to the next card, shall we? This is the first time I'm going to show you one that I've coloured it with all the different woodland elements. So on the front of my acetate, this actual panel here, we've just got the woodland bits, which is using die number 1, which of course is only £9.99. And I wanted to show you here how you could use the back of the die as well as the front. So usually when you cut a die, the back looks a bit messy and you don't really want to use it or show it. Well, with these I found they actually cut quite crisp and the back was in quite good condition. So I wanted to show you that if you look here, ignore the big tree in the background, that's it as it actually cuts going across there. And then I've flipped it to use the back side of it to make this side here. So it really means that we can sort of build it up into a a frame, if you like, for want of a better word, or a bigger border, without it looking like we're repeating the same pieces exactly the same, if that makes sense. And then I've cut different parts. So this, for instance, is just 2 trees that have been cut off of the end of that die and stuck in underneath some snow. And then again, we've added a big tree in the back here and a big tree in the back here. And then I've used the snow part to go across the base, and I've layered that so that there's 2 elements. But I didn't particularly like the join part. Now you're going to see the join here if I show you, but there is a join. So I've actually put my reindeer's leg over the join part, so hopefully disguise the eye so you don't quite see that bit as much. And then across the top of my fencing, I've added the snow, which you actually get as a separate little die, which is just really cute to add on the top of your fence if you wish to. And then that sort of completed that one. So I coloured mine, by the way, with all different distress inks, and then just used a quickie glue pen and some glitter to glitter it. I was meant to stick a red nose on Rudolph, but totally forgot. But you could do if you wanted to, or you could keep it more real if you don't want to. And then over the page, we have our scenes again. And I wanted to leave this one a bit more obvious so I could show you in a bit more detail. So again, this is the proper side of the die. That's actually how it runs if you look at that first panel. Let me get it so that one can show you more sense, hopefully. So that's literally, here's where I need another hand. That's literally the part that you can see. And then that's the other side of it. So again, the back of it as it should be cut and just trimmed down to create that border. But I'm just trying to show you how you can really build it up into different pieces if you want to. And again, you can add bits into the background of it. So this time I've added just a little fence to give it a bit more depth behind it as well. And then a Happy Christmas die on the top here. This isn't one that's on the showcase today, but it is one that we've got in stock. We also have one that says Merry Christmas. So if you don't like Happy, there is a Merry, and they're only $5.99 each, which again is quite a big die. They're of course available in store or online, and of course you can order them or have them reserved if you wish to. And then on the inside I've just added a little verse, and that completes that card. So again, quite an easy one, nothing too taxing. This one I wanted to show you how if you wanted to use your woodland scene but you don't like colouring, because not everyone likes colouring and inking, you don't have to. So this time I've cut it all out of white cardstock or white pearl cardstock. And again, I've done my little trick with reversing bits, and I've layered bits and added in extra trees. And that's one of the bits I really appreciated with that set. It's got a lot of components in it, but the versatility of the components that are in it really do give you endless options. And that's what I really appreciated with that one. Then up here we've of course got that really lovely snowflake frame, which is die number 2, which is now of course only $9.99. And I just love this. I think that you can use it in so many ways, in so many directions. And again, these are using the snowflakes that have come out of here to actually just layer up and give it a bit more depth. And then for our frame this time, we have got die number 4, the snowflake oval. Now I've done one in the back here, and I've left that as a solid. And then the actual silver one on the top using the card from your Essentials pack, that's one where I've actually popped in that middle die. So it's cut it out and given that really nice scalloped edge to it to actually make it as a frame. I've then used part of my woodland trees and just added them in here just to give it a bit of depth behind my polar bears. And then the polar bears are actually off of one of the decoupage sheets. Now the good bit with these is I haven't used the actual main one, the back end part, and I left off a couple of the layers, so you could sort of do some quite frugalness crafting here and create a couple of cards using just one piece instead if you wanted to, because as I say, I've only used a couple of bits from that one to give you that effect on that one. And then again we've got paper and card, which you will find in your Essentials pack if you like the look of the layers on that one too. And then moving on to our next card. Now this is actually the first card I made. And I'll be honest with you, when I see this die, which is your die number 2, your snowflake one, bear in mind we order these from tiny, tiny, tiny little pictures on a computer screen and have to hope that what we're ordering is hopefully what we think it is. Now when I see this, I actually thought this was going to have a blade run around the inside here and it was going to cut it out as a window. And I really liked that idea. And then when it turned up, I found it hadn't got that. And to begin with, I was a bit like, I don't know if I'm happy about this. But I quickly realised that being a crafter, it's nothing to cut a hole. And once you've cut this, it will actually emboss that shape for you. And if it doesn't, and you want to, just leave your card in it, turn it over, draw around it with a pencil, and in a couple of seconds, you can cut that shape out quite nicely. But of course, if it did cut that out, you would be very limited of what you could do with it. Where instead of having the ability to cut it yourself, opens up a lot more options, because on all of my other cards, I've really appreciated having that built into the panel. But for this one, because I'd already set my mind on it, the cogs had been working and I'd thought about what I wanted to do. So I actually did it sort of 3 or 4 times, if I remember rightly, 3 times. So I've got a solid one in the back one, and then I've got 3 layers that I've actually cut out with a knife. Now, being very naughty, you can see my pencil marks. You can see what I'm on about, hopefully. Literally drawn it, should have rubbed them out, forgot about that. And cut it out with a knife to make that 3D effect. And then I've just built up using the actual edge work of the frames, using all of the different dies from the woodland set, my actual scene. And then I've glittered them just to match it and give it a bit of sparkle. And as I say, it's quite nice having that solid backing as well, because I've also just added a few dots of snow falling from that one too. And then, like I said earlier, the good bit with this die in particular is you can use it in pretty much any direction. So where that's coming up at the top of my easel, I've also used the same die to make up the bottom of my easel, so it can come out at the base as well, which I quite like too. I should have really put a different colour under that so it popped a bit more, but hopefully you can see the glitter really does make quite a nice impression coming through the beautiful snowflakes anyway. And then for my stopper, I got a bit creative. I used the oval die, which of course is die number 4, and I cut it in half, but not quite, so it's just the other side of the flower. So if I lift this up here, you can hopefully see the intact flower at the top. So I've just cut it the other side of that, which of course meant I'd got 2 different steps then, 2 different size panels, not quite equal. So I've just padded them to make a bit more of a dramatic stopper than I would normally use. Which again, because this set really coordinates so nicely, it just goes in perfectly. And you're going to notice little things like, if you do get all of it, where the oval sits on this panel, on die number 2, on the snowflake panel, it actually has room to fit the snowflakes in from what are going to protrude out the side of your oval. So it sort of matches in really, really well, more than you would actually possibly imagine. You can really see they've thought about it and coordinated it perfectly. Excuse me. On to our next card. So this one has got die number 7 on it, which is the oval frame. And the only reason I made this card really was to show you how beautiful them borders are. These are the borders that I have a feeling you're going to struggle to see again, but hopefully with a colour under them you might be able to see the difference in them a little bit more. But I've got them dotted throughout my card in all different places, all different borders, just to try and show you how lovely they are, because they really are beautiful. Obviously on the top of my die, the actual die that we're looking at really, is another one of the pictures that of course you're going to get in your essentials pack. And then I've just added a few odd bits of layers and ribbons to create that one. It was done in a couple of minutes, that one. It really was all about showing you how pretty they are. Then on to our next card. So for this one, oh, this was a tricky one, this one. This was again using die number 2, the snowflake frame. But instead of just using it on one side, I wanted to use it on both sides. So what I've done is I've cut it and I've hid the join under the ribbon. So I've got 2 panels joined together. And again, because of they go out on that side to create that sort of part for the oval, when you do bring them together, you've got a really nice embossed line going all the way around it. Perfect to fit that oval in, and the ribbon hides the join quite nicely. Now I'll be honest, and you might be looking at this and thinking, oh, he's done that wonky. Well, I did. It is slightly offset, and I did sort of cock that one up a little, but we will forgive me that, hopefully. And if you do it, you can learn from my mistakes, and you could actually measure these things, because that really would be a good idea. But to hopefully cover it up, I just stuck my oval off slightly as well and stuck some really big snowflakes on to hopefully trick the eye into not noticing. But what we've got obviously is 2 of the panels from die number 2, and then of course layered up here we have die number 4, which is the snowflake oval. And again on top of that we've added another one of the pictures from your essentials pack. Of course, these snowflakes, once again, don't forget they're the ones that have come out of all of these ones that you're going to end up with lots of being cut out of that die. I just think that's a really good value for money thing. In complete honesty with you, we'd actually ordered some snowflake punches to show you this week and to put in your essentials packs. But to be fair, you don't need them, because of this die is going to cut out all them snowflakes for you. And it's silly to waste them. You might as well use them and save money on buying another die or another punch. It's nice to use the waste, isn't it? So this card is another one of the ones I wanted to show you using the Woodland set. Now I must confess I did really fall in love with this set, and I could have just made 15 cards today just playing around with this one because I just think it's fun. Again, I've coloured them. I've used all different distress inks again to tone them in. I wanted to show you this time how we could reverse the dies but actually keep it to a compact size. So if you don't make big cards, I know I tend to get a bit carried away and make massive things. Don't have to. This is just a standard square card, and you can just overlap them twice and build them up using pads. I've of course added one big tree in the background, a couple of fence panels, the snow on top, and then that snow border runs really well across the bottom there. I've of course added the grass and the little reindeer. I left off the bunny because I felt that was a bit random, but of course you can add him in if you wanted to. I've built all this up again using our lovely die number 2, the snowflake frame, and then of course we have got the snowflake oval on this one. And this is a good tip for you. I know it's something that loads of people have been doing for hundreds of years, but even I often forget about this, and it can quite easily be missed. When you've cut your die out and your card is still in your die, if you just turn that over and use your inks over the top of this, it will just ink that middle part of your die for you. So then when you take the die cut out, you end up with this effect. So you've got a really nice crisp oval that's just coloured just for you so easily. And dies used to be advertised as cut, emboss and stencil or ink, something like that. But they seem to have got rid of that and stopped sort of promoting that as an idea. But this one's a really good one to do that with, because you do get a really nice crisp oval. And you would have seen that on a couple of my cards, but I forgot to tell you about it earlier. But it's quite a nice way to do it and tone it in. And then of course I've just inked across the edge of it with a brown to just try and match in my colours, which you don't have to do if you don't want to. But it's a nice way to do it. And then if you open up my card, again, I wanted to show you how you could once again use that lovely die number 2 as in both directions. So it complements quite nicely on a card that's folded like this, doesn't it? To have it come out in both ways. And then again, we've got that same oval die again, distressed in the same way we was just talking about, but this time I've stamped over the top of it as well. If you do decide to stamp it, take it out of the die first, because if not, the die may get in the way of your stamping. Ink it, then do it. All right, moving on. So this is my last project for you today, and you may have already been scratching your head all the time since we looked at the Essentials pack over why I'd give you a chipboard frame. Well, this is what your chipboard frame is all about. This is of course the top of your chipboard frame that you're going to be getting, and then of course we have the back of it right the way back here that's holding it all together. But what's in here is lots of them little balls from in your shaker bag, them little seedless balls. Again, I don't think you're going to see them, but they're really pretty and they give you a really nice effect, and it genuinely does look like it's snowing in the background there. So how I've created this is I've taken my frame, I've taken a sheet of pearl paper, I've stuck the pearl paper, wrapping it all the way around the frame on the inside and the outside of it, so you've got really nice papered edges, so there's nothing showing that chipboard colouring. I've then added a peel off borders around the inside and the outside. I've then turned it over and I've put around my first layer of foam tape and put on a piece of acetate. From there I've foam pad taped every level. Now hopefully you're going to get to see this in here. There is a lot of foam tape, I know. A lot of foam tape to make up lots of different levels. And then on every level I've added different parts of the woodland die set. So I don't know how well you're going to get to see in here, but we can literally step back. We've got snow, then we've got the big tree panels, then we've got a nice fencing panel, then we've got big trees, and then we've actually got a layer where I've left it blank to put in the shaker element of it. And then behind that, I've also added in my sleigh and reindeer. So there really is lots of layers. You wouldn't have to do as many if you didn't want to, of course, but it's quite a fun way to actually make it a freestanding frame because it's got all of them layers in there. If you stick the back on, which is slightly smaller than the front, so do be warned of that, but if you stick it on so it is level with the base, it will actually stand as a freestanding ornament if you wanted it to. Or of course you could turn it into a wall hanger, or you could even tip it back and put it on that stand that is provided for you in your Essentials pack. I just thought these were fun, and I quite like making Christmas decorations because it's something that I know it's lovely to make cards, and I'm not going to moan about cards, but you sort of make them and you give them away, and then you have to hope that the person you've given them to is going to respect them and cherish them and bring them out every now and again. But with something like this, it's yours and you can put it away and bring it out every year, and I quite like that idea. I think that's why at heart I'm a bit of a scrapbooker, because of a scrapbooking, again, you get to keep it, you don't always give it away. So I quite like any home decor projects or Christmas decorations like this. And then on the back, we've just added that piece. I've added more peel-off borders around the edges of that. And then on the front, obviously, I've gone back to the front because I wanted to not squish these while I was working. I've added in more of them snowflakes from the middles of all of them die number 2s I've been cutting to just add in a bit of decoration. I also had an ink smudge that very much needed to be covered up, and that come in very handy. But hopefully you would work in a cleaner area and might not have to do that. The actual reindeer and sleigh set, by the way, is this set here. Now, you may recognise this. We had this on a showcase a couple of weeks ago. It's really cool because you get your sleigh and your reindeers. You also get 2 little stamps that say my house and, or my home, sorry. No, my house and the North Pole. And you've got a couple of cloud stamps as well to build up quite a nice scene with. But obviously you can see in here that our Santa only has 2 reindeers, which is very wrong. So this time I've actually cut them and joined them all together and just padded them at different areas so you can actually see all 8. And I did remember to give Rudolph his red nose on this one. But it's a nice way to show you how you could extend that die out if you wish to. Now that die should be £8.99, but this week it's only £5 as it's on an offer. It's not included obviously in your Sunday showcase or in your bundles, but it is just a little separate offer we're running. So that one is only £5 if you would like it. Just once again, you can use your code SANTA for this one to keep it separate from everything else. Or you can of course order it on the Sunday showcase section, or of course you can pick it up in store. So that completes all of the samples I've got to show you today. Hopefully I've given you a few ideas. Hopefully you've got a couple of questions. And if you have, don't hesitate to get in contact. It's what we're here for. We love it when you've got questions. It means you've paid attention and haven't just fast forwarded, which is really, really lovely. So if you do have questions, you can of course contact us at one of our stores. You can pop in and see us if you live local. Or of course feel free to ask us questions on any of our social media. There's also a link to my personal Facebook on the description to this video, and if you wish to friend request me, you're more than welcome to. I accept everybody, I'm easy like that. So join in and friend request me, and then that way you'll get to see a little bit more of what I get up to in and out of work and preparing for all the different showcases and videos that we bring you. But it's also a really good way if you want direct contact to ask me questions about what I've been doing to create these cards. It's not a problem. I'm here night and day to help you if I can. So let's take a quick run through of all of the products we're looking at today, and hopefully help you make up your mind if there's any of these that you'd like to get. So die number 1 is your woodland die. It should be £11.49p, but is reduced to just £9.99. Die number 2 is your snowflake frame. Should be £11.49, but is reduced to just £9.99. Die number 3 is your snowflake circle. Should be £9.99, but is only £8.99. And die number 4 is your snowflake oval. It should be £7.49, but it's only £6.49. Die number 5 is your square frame. It should be £8.49, but it's only £6.99. Die number 6 is your circle frame. Should be £8.49, but it's only £6.99. And die number 7 is your oval frame. This one should be £8.49, but it's reduced to just £6.99. You can of course cash in and get your mega bundle. This will give you all 7 dies. Should be £65.95. 93p, sorry, but it's only £52.99 if you'd like to get that one. Then of course you've got your essential pack. Your essential pack should cost you £24.32p, but it's only £16, which is just incredible. I think they're going to go really quickly. And then we of course have your super mega bundle, which gives you £90.25p worth of goodies for just £68.99. Now, as I said to you earlier in today's video, if you wish to order on our website, you can do, and there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. You can first of all use our click and collect service, so you can go on there and order anything you wish to, click and collect it, and we will notify you when it's ready to be collected from either our Lowestoft store or our Great Yarmouth store. Secondly, you can of course order to have any of these items sent to you within the UK. Now that's really easy. If you spend over £35, your P&P is completely free. If your order comes to less than £35, it just has a flat rate of £2.75. If you're shopping with us internationally, which is an incredibly popular thing to do, we send loads and loads of parcels, especially to Australia, New Zealand and America. We are trialling a new system on this. Basically, you pay a flat rate of £10 for your P&P. If it costs more than £10, doesn't matter what you spend, by the way, just £10 P&P. If it costs more than £10 to send you your parcel, then here at Craftmania we will pay that difference. You don't have to. It is capped at £10. If your parcel is miraculously cheaper than £10, then we will refund you the difference. So that's the maximum you will pay, and if we can, we will get it cheaper for you. Most parcels, in complete honesty, tend to work out about £15, £16. So of course that means you're going to pay 10 and we will pay the 5 or 6. So we try to help you out with our international shoppers because we know it's not cheap to get these goodies sent to you. And the last thing we want to do is put up stumbling blocks between you and getting your hands on these fun products. As I said earlier, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask us. If you like the look of the cards and the projects I've shared with you today, you can pop on Pinterest and pin them. If you've enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. If you're going to give us a thumbs down, we want to know why. So please tell us in the comments so we can moan at you. No, not really, but we do appreciate feedback either way. And if you are watching us on YouTube, if you could please subscribe to us, that would mean the world. We are currently just tipped 1,250 subscribers, and we would certainly love to see that number grow. So please don't hesitate to share it, like it and subscribe to it. I'll be back next Sunday with your next video. Thank you so much for watching. See you then. Bye for now.